Chris, dímelo Big June.
Yes, qué motea. Yay. Nice, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Demo ya. ¿Qué motia? Okay, familia, we're live and direct. This is Garifuna Music on Talk with DJ Labuga. We're live from the studios in Long Beach, California. And tonight we have a very special guest. We have Isha Summer. Tonight she will be talking about the wonderful and delicious Garifuna food and the production of her brand new book. It's a cookbook that is coming out soon, and she will give us all the details. So stay tuned for Isha Summer, who is not only a author of this wonderful cookbook, but also an actress. She is going to school, and she's learning acting, of course, at one of the top schools in New York. And not only that, she's also going to talk about her career as an actress. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. This is your weekly radio show, Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We're live and direct from the studios in Long Beach, California. And this is DJ Labuga. Welcome to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We are live from the studios in Long Beach through RadioCentroamerica.com and LMBRoots.com radio in New York. Every Wednesday from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We bring to you the best of recording artists, musicians, producers, and musical directors behind Garifuna Music. So welcome to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga, and enjoy my show tonight. Ya.
numarima, neibuga tarigima, uneibuga tarigi numarima, neibuga tarigima, uneibuga tarigi numarima. Na 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 na.
Motea. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have Isha Summer. Born and raised in Honduras, she came to the United States when she was a teenager. Isha Summer is here tonight, live and direct on Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. One more minute to showtime, ladies and gentlemen. Huelga, let's eat. Comamos. Wonderful, wonderful. This is from the brand new album from Young Chris, from the album Dugu da Bay, which was released on Sunday right here at this radio station on lmbRoots.com radio with Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We had Young Chris live, his father, Sonny D, and of course, Tucuman. The three of them, of course, are the ones behind this album, but the one, the creator, the brain behind this baby, and the sole proprietor is, of course, Young Chris. So you just listen to track number, let's see, that's with Loverboy, and it's track number 5, and it's called Numari. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome tonight. I want to welcome all of our beautiful audience who are tuned in tonight all over the place. We have people listening in New York, in Brooklyn, of course, in the Boogie Down Bronx. We have a lot of people in Los Angeles through www.radiocentroamerica.com, which just joined us right now at this moment. And I want to send a big hug, a virtual hug to Dr. Sidorov and his beautiful wife, Frida Sidorov, who are tuned in tonight. Also to the brothers and sisters from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we're talking about Lucette King and, of course, the movement and the highlights, all these two different groups that are on Facebook. One is called The Highlights and the other one is called... of course, what is it called? The movement. So I want to welcome all of our brothers and sisters from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Also, Brandon Hill, who is listening in the East Coast. He is African-American young man who is working on a wonderful project to do some type of a student exchange with the students in Livingston, Guatemala, and in Dangriga in Belize. So we'll see what happens. And welcome Brandon to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. I also want to welcome Elda Becerra in Phoenix, Arizona. She's tuning in tonight through www.lmbRoots.com. So welcome to all of you. And now let's talk about Isha. It is an Isha moment right now. She was born and raised in Honduras, came to the United States when she was a teenager. She is currently writing and producing Huelga, Let's Eat, a Garifuna cookbook, while also finishing her second year at the William Esper Studios, where she studies acting the Meisner technique with Suzanne Esper. Let's see. Her work on stage, television, and short films have touched audiences of all ages, and most importantly, she is a true inspiration to her community. Isha Sommer inspires to utilize her creative abilities not only to inspire others, but also to change lives through the arts. She likes to dance, read, write, and when asked, she advises friends on life and relationships. Isha resides in New York, and she's happily married and has 2 beautiful children. So, ¿qué es Huega? A toda mi gente de habla hispana, Huega, let's eat, comamos. Es un sabor totalmente caribeño. Será un libro de cocina narrativo celebrando la auténtica y la autenticidad de las recetas garífunas y de las conocidas recetas como, típicas hondureñas. Un libro lleno de recuerdos e historias divertidas que nos alivia esa nostalgia que todos sentimos al dejar nuestros respectivos países, con fotos y recetas fáciles de seguir, de modo que cualquier cocinero casero pueda lograr el distintivo sabor de la deliciosa comida garífuna hondureña. So we're going to welcome Miss Isha Sommer, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to make that phone call right now as we play the introduction to Garifuna Music on Talk with DJ La Buga, straight from the studios in Long Beach, California. ¿Qué motia? Welcome to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ La Buga. We present our weekly radio show every Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. We have interviews from Aurelio Martinez to Consigo, Gado Nunez, Gloria Osiris, Lord Agustin. Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ La Buga brings them all to you on our weekly radio show. Listen live on your home computer, smartphone, iPad, and notebook. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook through Ronnie Figueroa. Also on TuneIn. If you don't have the application, download it for free. Welcome to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ La Buga. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is your weekly radio show, Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ La Buga. And this is your host, DJ La Buga. We're straight from the studios on Long Beach, right by the beach. Beautiful Los Angeles, one of the largest ports in the United States, Long Beach. And we have on the line a wonderful actress, a wonderful person. We have met Isha. I think it was one time when we did a presentation at Medgar Evers College. She did a wonderful performance that day. We were celebrating the Garifuna Forum right at that beautiful institution. So, welcome, Misha. How are you this evening? Ida Binya?
Magadet na ida hiagye.
Magadet na ginye.
Mama nagunda nagambu magi.
Igualmente, we're happy as well to have you and very excited to have a person of your caliber. Prior to having of course having this interview, I was promoting the show and I have placed some pictures of the dukuno. It looks like dukuno to me with the plantain leaves. So before we get into the show, I want you to break it down for the people in St. Vincent. They were asking, what is that? That looks familiar.
Okay. Yes, it must look familiar to them. That is in Honduras. In the Garifuna villages, we make that particular food, and it's called darasa. And the reason why it's called darasa is because it takes time to make. The meaning of the word darasa in Garifuna is slow. Yeah.
Okay.
So darasa consists of green bananas, and we grind the green bananas, and we cook we prepared the coconut soup on the side. Like, you season it very well with basil, garlic, green peppers, and a lot of chicken bouillon to give it flavor. And then you mix the paste with the creamy part of the coconut soup.
Wow.
After cooking it for about 10 minutes. You get to mix it without any of the peppers or basils or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that process, you get to make the which is known as tamale, which is you get to wrap the darasa inside the banana or the plantain leaf. And that wrapping actually gives it another flavor. It adds on a flavor to it. And after the wrapping of that is done, you now move on to the third step, which is boiling and cooking the banana paste inside the leaf.
Wow.
That process takes an hour and 25 minutes.
Wow, that is wonderful, Isha. That is wonderful. Wow, you broke it down like you were the book. So that
right.
tells us that you really prepare a wonderful material for anyone who wants to try Garifuna cooking at home. Beautiful, wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, well, I gotta give it to you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't necessarily consider myself a chef
mm-hmm.
or a cook. I'm inspired by my mom. She's the inspiration behind the cookbook.
That's beautiful.
And I've been wearing all kinds of hats in the kitchen because we're trying to find out the history of our food. How can we get the authentic flavor of our food here in New York or in America per se,
mm-hmm.
Since we're not home anymore? And where can we find these things? And how long does it take to cook? Because we have a different form of cooking back home with wood and all these things. And over here we have the stove and we have an oven.
Yes.
So it's been like playing science trying to figure it out.
Wow, that is wonderful. Well, that was a nice introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We have on the line our wonderful guest, Miss Isha Summer. She happens to be an actress. We're going to get into that in a minute, but I think that definitely one of the best openings I ever heard from any one of my guests. Where we get right into the meat of the conversation. So this is great. Thank you for that. And for Lucette King and Brandon Hill. Lucette is from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Brandon Hill is an African American young man who is representing one of the colleges in the East Coast who is seeking to start some type of a student exchange with Garifuna children in Guatemala and in Belize. So maybe he will change his mind after listening to Isha and maybe start looking for children in Honduras. How's that?
He's always welcome. We need the help.
Yes, definitely. Well, welcome, Isha, and let's get right into the first question.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, such as where you were born and your parents? Who are your parents?
Sure. My parents are Sarah Martinez. That's my mom. She's from San Juan Tela. And my father, his name is Agapito Gutierrez. And he was from Trujillo. The reason why I say he was is because he's deceased. He passed away about 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So,
but, yeah.
When you mention San Juan, we're talking about San Juan Durugubuti, right?
When I say San Juan, I'm talking about San Juan Durugubutipueve.
Ah, Kemotia. That's beautiful. Yes. Okay. So for those of you who are geographically in tune, you know what we're talking about. So that town has a very special history, which we're not going to get into until later. But that's after we find out more about Isha. So how was it like growing up in Honduras? You mentioned to me prior to this interview that you grew up in Honduras. So what was it like?
Well, growing up in Honduras was, like any other childhood, that came with its ups and downs. My first memories growing up in Honduras was that my mom was there, we lived with her, my dad was around, and then suddenly that picture quickly changed as I was growing up, and then my mom came to the United States. She separated from my father, and once she left, we had to move in with my grandma. So the time that we lived with our grandfather was a mixture of a lot of things. There was a lot of drinking in the household, which it didn't really make a good picture per se. And there was a lot of missing mom, after she left to the USA. So it was kind of like, there was constant longing for this person that you loved so much that you wanted that person to be there. And then there was this struggle with adjusting to the new lifestyle and trying to understand the adult's life of drinking and it was kind of like, but then again, there was nature that offered, beautiful beaches. Nature offered, mangoes and fun playing outside. So there was a mixture of all those things that I think has, in so many ways, helped me become the person that I am and how I look at the world.
Now, that gave you the foundation that you have today because you are trilingual. You are very fluent in Spanish, in English, and in Garifuna. So we want to hear a taste of that. I set you up. I set you up real good.
You're putting me on the spot. But yes, I am trilingual, and I do love the fact that I speak Garifuna. I love the fact that I embrace my Spanish heritage, being that I was born in Honduras. And me encanta, no tengo ninguna reserva acerca de ni uno de estos lenguajes. Cada uno es un lenguaje muy especial para mí y yo me identifico como persona con cada lenguaje.
Wow, tremenda. Ahora en Garífuna. No te me vas a escapar. Don't try to get away from that one there.
So what I said was that
Lida Garifuna. Yeah, Lida Garifuna.
Hisiati kada balida ge dumure lenengwe nu la degale sandigwat na nungwalaw kada la balida ge adegala na hisela nu kay grigi kada balida ge mosu nargdnila daga nani uwatiti masande guna nungwa hamuga la ani la busiga nagulaw genga na Garifuna o la daga genga na Shumag o la daga genga na Meyen. He said no de na yanu hani de yala na yanu hama grige lunerengu ni hon lida dumure le gufuna da habe kala nengwe.
Lida da, itarala. That was beautiful. Very nice. You passed the test. No, that was one of the highlights that made the Garifuna Forum in Brooklyn at Medgar Evers College a highlight. I think we were able to deliver the information in 3 languages in a span of one day. So that was very nice. And thank you for being such a trooper, to try to help us there and get this thing on the road. So thank you for that, Isha. And once again, let's take you back. So, growing up in Honduras, how was your transition from Honduras to the Big Apple? Wow.
Well, that was big. The apple is definitely big, but before I arrived to the Big Apple, I actually had a 5-year stay in Houston, Texas, which was originally, the state that we arrived to, fresh coming from Honduras. And we lived there for 5 years. It was beautiful. It was quiet. It was mellow, a little bit more laid back. And then after those 5 years, my mom decided that most of the family lived here in New York, and that she wanted, she longed for that, to be with her sisters and family members. So we moved to New York. That was like, whoa. That was actually very life-changing in many ways.
Yeah.
Because New York City was a little bit more, definitely faster paced than Houston, Texas. And the way that you have to travel the city was completely different. I mean, in Houston, you either get in a car or you got on a bus and you got somewhere. And in New York, it was mainly like mass transit. You have to take the train places. And I remember going to school the first day on my own, and Mom was like, okay, you remember which train you need to take and where you're going to get off? And I'm like, okay. I go to the train station.
Wow.
I go to the train station. I get on any train. I didn't even pay attention whether it was going
uptown
or downtown.
Oh, my God.
And I got so lost, and I was like, oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, but I learned my way.
So, were you crying when you found out that you were lost? Did you ask people to for directions?
I was terrified. And one of the rules were from my mom that you couldn't speak to strangers because people in New York were mean. So I was like, oh, my God, how am I going to get back home?
Oh, my God. That's crazy.
So I basically just ended up asking the person selling the Metro cards. I'm trying to get back to the Bronx, and she I don't even know where I was, and they helped me, and I was able to get back home. And I told Mom, I was like, I can't do it. And some of the days I tried to learn to take the bus, and I would get off at the wrong stops and start walking long distances to make it to school. That happened for a couple of days before I actually got the hang of it.
Wow, that is wonderful. Thank you for that anecdote. That was really terrifying. That would have been me. I don't know. That's crazy. You became part of Garifuna Cultural Drumming and Dance Group there in New York. Can you tell us about that experience? You were fresh, so you had a lot of the culture with you. How was that?
Yes. This was Wanishigu Dance Company.
Right.
The director of the dance company was Manuela Savio. And yes, I had graduated from high school. And because I didn't have a green card, I couldn't go to college as soon as I graduated. So I kind of became this miserable, depressed person.
Wow.
Because there were so many things that I wanted to do, and because of the whole green card thing, I felt boxed. And my mom, I guess at the time, didn't have sufficient information that would actually allow me to go to school or help me, even though I didn't have a green card. Everything was just like, no, you can't do this because you don't have this, and you cannot do this because you don't have this. And I became so frustrated and so hopeless. It was just like, what's the point of being in the United States without having to be, able to do things like going to college and traveling and doing things that I want to do. In those dark days, that was when this gentleman, a friend of the family by the name of Celso Castro, came to my mom. Yeah, he came to my mom, and he told Mom, like, why don't you let Isha participate in Wanishibu Dance Company? I know the director of the group. The kids in that group, they're very smart. They're very good kids. They're trying to maintain and sustain our culture, and I think Isha would make, a good candidate. And my mom, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. But Mom was like, why don't you give it a try? You're not doing anything. And I remember going to the to meet up everyone. And Celso brought me there. And he recommended me, and he introduced me to the whole group. And they actually said the first day that I went that I could start rehearsing with them.
Wow.
And I was so excited because I felt like, oh my God, at least, somebody wants me to do something.
Wow.
And I went into Wanishibu Dance Company not knowing much about my culture. I knew what I had to learn from back home, but I didn't really know the details of like where we came from, details like what's our mixture. I've heard things here and there, but I didn't really focus on those things. They weren't important to me. It was more like, yeah, whatever. But
Yes.
But once I started dancing in Wanishibu, I started to see the importance of our culture and the importance of sustaining it and maintaining it and teaching it to other people and sharing it with other people. And little did I know that I was becoming an ambassador of the Garifuna culture through dance. And it was an amazing experience. Like, that experience was life-changing for me.
Wow. Well, Isha, let me tell you one thing, that your story has touched a lot of people, because in our community, we have so many people who could relate to being undocumented. We have, up until today, a lot of men, women, and children who are suffering because of that, because of the fact that they could be separated anytime and be shipped back to either Honduras, Guatemala, Belize, Nicaragua, or any of the Latin American countries for that matter. And trust me, your sharing the story has really touched a lot of lives, and God bless you for that, because you have the ¿cómo diríamos? Los cajones para contarlo, ¿no?
No. Claro, ¿por qué no?
No, yo sé que mucha gente esconde esto. A lot of people tend to hide these things that go on in their lives, but then, like you say, you feel caged. You feel like somebody who is in four walls, and I relate because I have a lot of friends and even family members who are in that predicament and who have been able to find a door to escape, to be free, to become legal, and to be able to go to school, get a job, and things like that. So praise the Lord. I really thank you for that, for sharing that part of your life, Isha.
Absolutely.
My next question is, what is so unique about Isha?
That's a funny question. I would say that we are all unique in our own make. We were all made unique, and we are all one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one else like us on the face of the earth. I mean, that's such a big question, because I would just say that I'm still discovering my
Mm-hmm.
uniqueness. I couldn't tell you, like, oh, I'm unique because I'm like this. I'm still discovering myself, as I am a late bloomer. I'm still discovering those things that are unique about me. If I was to pinpoint maybe one thing, I would say that I love people. I love people from anywhere and everywhere. I just have this love for people. You know, like,
Very nice.
my heart just fills with kindness and love for people. I don't care where they're from or what color they are.
Very nice.
I just love people. That's
Yes,
all.
very nice. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We are live from the studios in Long Beach via telephone lines from New York. We have Isha Summer. She is an actress. She is a publisher now. She is going to publish a cookbook called Wega. Let's Eat. Comamos.
That's right.
So we're going to get right into that in a minute, the part about acting. But I also want to welcome all of the wonderful people who are listening live through www.radiocentroamerica.com. We have lots of people online right now through Los Angeles, Radio Centroamerica, and many, many, many more through lmbroots.com radio in the Boogie Down Bronx. We have people listening in Canada. Big up to the people in Ottawa listening. Let's see. We have Bronx. We have Chicago. We have Los Angeles. We have so many small cities in the East Coast that are hard to pinpoint. But the map that I'm looking at right now is basically full with little bubbles in through Radio Centroamerica. So thank you for tuning in. And my next question for Isha is, have you traveled back home? And if so, what was your experience like?
Well, yes, I traveled back home because of the producing and working on the cookbook. We definitely, my sister and I, traveled to Honduras, and it was such a great experience because we were beginning to work on the cookbook, and we realized that in order for us to get the authenticity of our cuisine, the idea of our foods, we needed to go back to where everything started for us.
Wow.
So we went back home and we visited many villages, and we visited many cooks in those villages, and we presented ourselves to them and said, listen, we're here, we're Garifunas, we want to create an amazing cookbook, the cookbook you've never seen before. In our community. And we are not cooks, we are not chefs, and we want you
Wow.
we want you to share with us your recipes. The whole village speaks about you, that you are an amazing cook, that you make this, you're the best coconut bread maker, you're
Wow.
the best porridge maker, and we want to try your food. And we want to see if we could record your recipes and take them back to New York and give you credit in our book. And in that way, you will be helping us sustain and maintain our culture, our cuisine.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah, which in so many ways, our food I feel like it's being neglected. I feel like it's been pretty much just sitting with us at home, and we haven't been sharing it with other people. And I found that to be, like I said, I love people, and because of that love, I love to share anything that is good in our culture with them. And I think our food is amazing to be able to share with all people from all over the world.
Excellent. Good job. What villages did you visit to be able to document this cookbook?
Yes, we visited La Ensenada, Garifuna Place restaurant at La Ensenada. Those guys were amazing, just sharing with us what they do, how they make their food, how they maintain the authenticity of the food, what ingredients they use, and we spent days with them, just, being with them in their kitchens. We went to...
Where is La Ensenada?
La Ensenada is in Triunfo de la Cruz.
Okay, beautiful.
It's
nice.
It's part of Triunfo de la Cruz, and La Ensenada kind of goes west, and if you go east, you go to Triunfo, you go west, you go to La Ensenada, and we ended up in La Ensenada. We heard about this awesome restaurant, and we were asking. We went to Tornade. We went to Corozal. We went to, we were in La Ceiba. Anywhere we heard that there was an amazing cook, we went there. We were like, knock, knock.
That's beautiful.
We're here.
Wow.
And of course, we were in San Juan, Durugu Butibebe, where I'm from.
Yes.
Because one of the things I remember were the foods that I grew up eating, and I remember the people that used to sell certain foods, and every time these people would come with their merchandise, I would be begging my grandmother, like, "Oh, Baba Buffalo, no,
That's nice. Wow. You want to some
Mama,
keke?
Jesus, anu te do si Mama, hey, talugu hayana que te kan labu, busena kan labu, bagay, and things like that, because we were so excited about, Garifuna food growing up, and suddenly coming to the United States, we lost that excitement.
Oh,
and I was like, wait a minute, we need to reawaken the excitement about our food.
That is beautiful. Congratulations on that idea. And so when are we expecting to see this cookbook?
Well, I would love to tell you that the cookbook is out, but it's teamwork. I'm not doing this by myself.
Okay.
I have a team of people that I'm working with.
Okay.
I have a photographer, Milton Guiti. I have a food designer and coordinator. It's Wes Guiti. My sister G Martinez is the another person in the kitchen. That's my mom's right hand.
Wow.
And my mom is the I call her the gangster of the kitchen.
She's the CEO.
She's the one that makes everything happen. She's the one that I saw, here in New York, cooking so she could bring the family together.
Wow.
And I started noticing that, and I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Like, we all get together, like everybody's busy running around, but as soon as you pick up the phone and say, listen, we're going to have Hudutu this Sunday, and Mom is cooking.
Oh, wow.
Everybody and their grandmother shows up. And I was like,
that's nice.
This is awesome.
Yes. Wow.
And,
that is beautiful.
And my mom is pretty much the heart and the inspiration behind the cookbook because of the work that she's done to keep her family together in a city that's so occupied with everything.
Wow, yes. Good job. Good job. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. This is your host, DJ Labuga, and we have on the line all the way from New York, Miss Isha Sommer. She's talking about her wonderful cookbook called Weiga, Let's Eat, Comamos.
Yes.
And she's giving us all the details on it and the travels and of course all the stuff behind the scenes. Before we jump the gun and continue talking about the book, I wanted to go back to, are you in school right now? And if you are in school, what are you studying?
Yes, I am in school. I study acting. I go to I attend this studio in New York City called William Esper, where, you know, we get to learn the Meissner technique, which is, you know, living in imaginary circumstances. And, yeah, it's actually really good. It's a school where you have to go to many interviews to get in.
Wow.
And I'm very happy when I found out that I got in, because, and that was last year, because I'm doing a 2-year program, and I started the second year this September. And when I found out last year that I got, because that was like kind of like my last resort, because I was kind of like feeling like I'm fading away from the whole acting thing. One, because in the acting world, you'll do something today, you finish this whole theater production, and then you got to hustle again to get the next theater production.
Wow.
And, yeah, and like you finish a short film or any production that you're working on, and, you know, once it ends, you still feel like, okay, so what am I doing next? And I felt, I got to the point where I felt, especially when the movie 12 Years a Slave came out, I found myself in a crossroad, deciding like, should I continue doing this or should I just give up? Because I auditioned for 12 Years a Slave for the character that Lupita played.
Right. Oh my goodness. It would have been perfect.
Yeah, I auditioned. That would have been perfect. You know, but apparently they were looking for someone that was originally from Africa and all of
which
things
is not
that go into production.
Which is not.
Which,
she's Mexican.
You know. Yeah. And I was like, I'm from Honduras. I speak Spanish too, and I'm black.
Ay.
You know,
You tell him.
I was just like, what is this? But anyhow, when those things happen, at some point, you're being by the greater one, the Most High. It's like, do you really want to do this because you have the potential to do it? Or don't you want to do it? So when I came to that crossroad, I was just like, you know what, Lord, I really want to do this. I feel that this is one of, you know, a gift that's been given to me. And I want to continue to become better at my, you know, at my craft, because acting is a craft and it has to be learned. And even when you have it, you know, naturally, there's still logistics and technical things that you got to learn.
Right.
And, you know, and I was like, you know what? I haven't really given myself that chance. Let me give myself that chance. And that's how I ended up at William Esper.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So where is that school located?
That school is located on 37th Street in the Fashion District of New York City.
Oh, wow. Yes. Oh, wow.
And,
very nice.
Yeah. A lot of talented people, a lot of great people go to that school. There's a famous actress right now, Amy Schumer, actually is an alumni from that school.
Oh, wow.
You know, and many, many actors that I see on television. So I'm very privileged to be able to be there.
Right.
Very privileged.
No,
yeah.
Believe me, we know, because I've done some research on the school, and trust me, it is not easy to get into that school. Now, you have done some acting. Can you share with us about what you have done? But before you do that, it's a two-part question. I also want to ask you, so you like making movies and you also like doing theater. Now, if you do theater, New York is for you. But if you do movies, television, and all of that, you got to come to L.A. It's more like a statement, huh?
Well, Well, the good thing that's happening in New York is that a lot of TV productions are coming in because of incentives with taxes and all these things. So a lot of productions are moving into New York to do television and to do film, which is like, okay, great. Because I have a family. I know, I recall that in 2007, I was in Miami doing an actor's workshop with Telemundo. And, you know, with Adriana Barraza and all these big people. And it was amazing, but I have children, and I felt like Miami is not for me. Telemundo is deciding whether they want to use a black person or not in their production.
Mostly Spanish people they hire.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, you know, that whole thing in the Spanish community about who they show on television is still, you know, still a struggle.
Oh,
and they love me. I was one of their 10 best actors that they found and trained. And I belong to Telemundo's actors.
Wow.
But Telemundo has never hired me. Exactly.
Wow.
You know, tuve que aprenderme el acento neutro en español para hacer castings para las telenovelas. And they never hired me. So I'm just like, I don't know. But, you know, living in New York, like you said, I have the opportunity to do theater. I did a theater last year, which I loved, with Eleanor from Belize. She has an organization called Wagamu, something like that.
Yes, yes. Eleanor.
Yes, she deals with children, and she's teaching them the Garifuna culture through music and drumming.
Is that
and all
Miss
these
Bullock?
things. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Eleanor Bullock.
Okay, good.
And she did an amazing play about how the Garifunas were exiled from St. Vincent and what happened when Chief Joseph Sautier was killed and how the Garifunas reacted to the death and what to do facing the situation of their exit. And, you know, I was surprised when she called me and said, I want you to, you know, lead this play. And it was in a competition off of Broadway in New York.
Wow.
And we made it to the finals, which was
Wow.
amazing. But one of the things that was disappointing about that, it was that, you know, the third day of the play where we're like finals, and we expecting our people to come and support.
Yes.
And, you know, write their little vote and say, this is the play we want. Garifuna people didn't show up.
Oh.
And it was very disappointing because we worked so hard and we made it, and yet we didn't get the votes because the audience on the third day was mainly white, Caucasian. And as much as they admire our history, there's no way they would appreciate it as much as we would have. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, correct.
Like seeing it on stage and like kind of like getting an idea of what happened and reliving that moment. And I was like, you know, it's too bad that my people missed out on this because it was such a great play that this woman wrote.
Wow, that is beautiful. We did not know. I actually did not know about that. I heard some rumors about it, but then you really gave us a good description of what went down. And we're talking about what year when this happened?
Oh, this was last year.
Wow.
This was last year.
What was the amount of people involved, actors and actresses, that the casting?
The casting was big. You know, there were the drummers, there were the soldiers, the British people.
Wow.
The Garifuna men, that stood against the British.
Mm-hmm.
And my character was actually, I played a bouye, you know, the woman that foresees the future.
Yes.
And was able to understand what was going on, but at the same time, she didn't have the power to stop it. You know, she didn't have the power to kind of like derail history. It happened, that it was meant to be. This is the way it went down. And as much as, you know, she cried and she tried to fight it, you know, eventually we had to leave our home.
Wow, that's an amazing story. Wow, we would like to have it in Los Angeles. That would be great.
Well, you need to talk to Ellie.
No, indeed. I think a production like that, we're talking about a casting of about what, 40 people?
We had to have a minimum of, I think she cut it down to 15 people.
15. Wow, that
for
is
the
great.
stage. Yeah, 15 to 20 people.
No, that is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is feasible for someone in Los Angeles to bring a cast of 15 as opposed to bringing 40 people. I mean, 40 actors and actresses.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. She was able to cut it down and still tell the story in a riveting, vivid way.
Oh, that is beautiful. Congratulations on that, and thanks for letting us in on this piece of information that we were not too familiar with, and I think it's worth mentioning it. And maybe I could invite Miss Bullock to come and talk to us about that on Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga.
Absolutely. Yes.
Beautiful. So next question for you, Isha, is you work on stage, television, short films, has touched audiences of all ages, and most importantly, the Garifuna community. Can you share that experience? What are some of the stuff that you have done in television? I think you touched a little bit on it, a little lightly, but give us a little bit more, please.
Yes. One of the first things I did on TV, which is like one of the things that stand out the most, was an episode of Law and Order, SVU, Special Victim Unit. Right. And I actually was really excited when I booked that job because the writers were looking for someone that could speak Garifuna.
Wow.
I mean, they didn't know anything about Garifuna, but they were like, if we could get someone that speaks a language that could be translated, and I was sent to the interview, and I sat down with Peter Leto, the writer, the director of Law and Order, and I explained to him what the Garifuna language was and where we came from, and he was so fascinated with the story. He was like, "Can you translate the dialogue from English to Garifuna?"
Wow.
And I was like, sure. But as soon as I got out of the office, I called my mom. I was like, "Mom, you got to help me."
That's great. That is great.
Because we got to make sure that the Garifuna that's being said is the authentic Garifuna.
Uh-huh.
And my mom helped me translate it, and then I had another meeting with them, and I read it to them. And even though they didn't know the language, they fell in love with the sound.
Wow.
And they say, yes, we definitely want to have this. We're going to have you play the character of this victim from Honduras. And it was like, awesome, I'll do that. And that was great. That actually definitely got the attention of many Garifuna people. You know, I remember when the episode first came out, like people were sending me messages and people were like telling me how proud they were that they heard their language on television. and I was just like, oh, this is awesome. I didn't know it was going to impact so many people.
Well, we watched it in Los Angeles. We were able to watch it because there was a social media buzz going around saying, hey, you got to watch this tonight. Isha Summer is going to be there. So we were able to catch you in action on that episode. What is the name of the episode and the name of the TV show? So people could actually Google it.
Yeah, the TV show is Law and Order, SVU, and I think the name of the episode was, oh my God, I totally forgot.
No problem. No,
yeah,
if you remember throughout the interview, you could mention it. You could bring it up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what else did you do besides that? I know I remember one time we tried to get you to audition for a TV show on CBS. It was one season only of this show. And so we ended up getting Mr. Clifford Palacio in that show. And the woman that you were supposed to play, that position was given to a Colombian girl, a Spanish girl, even though they were looking for a Garifuna, you know. And so we would have loved for you to be part of that show.
I remember getting the phone call from Cheryl, and I was like, oh, my God, this is so exciting. But like you say, they went with a Colombian girl, and
she memorized the Garifuna. She was able to be coached by Mr. Clifford Palacio.
She supposedly spoke some. I mean, I didn't like her accent. I was like very like, oh my God.
Yes, I'm with you.
It's like, it's like dancing sopa de caracol. Like, what are you dancing?
Ouch. Oh my God. Yes, I understand.
You know? But
Mm.
it's all appreciated because it actually shows our culture. It shows that we exist. Mm-hmm. Even though sometimes it's a little disappointing because it's not the way that we would show it if we had the choice.
Right.
But nevertheless, it still works out. You know, it's like, that is Garifuna, you know. It starts conversation. So that's awesome, nevertheless.
Yeah. My next question, Isha, is if you were to land an acting job today, what kind of roles or role are you interested in?
Well, I actually went to a corner deli here in my neighborhood, and I heard the singing of Celia Cruz in the background. And I turned around and I looked at the TV, and they were like, Celia Cruz, la serie. And I was like, what? What's going on? On Telemundo. Yes. And I was like, I looked at the preview, and I was like, well, Celia Cruz wasn't light skinned. She was actually a dark Cuban, female. Why did they hire her as a light skin? And the reason why I was questioning myself is because, deep down inside, and I've also manifested this into life. And I've actually physically done certain things because I want to play Celia Cruz.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Yeah. I would love to play Celia Cruz. I'm like,
can you dance
why
salsa?
Not? I speak Spanish. I'm black. And I know how to dance.
Can you dance salsa, though? ¿Cómo está la salsa?
I can.
¿Sí? Okay.
But I mean, if somebody called me today and said, Isha, we would like for you to come to an audition for anything Celia Cruz, I would completely jump on it.
Oh,
because
I totally agree.
That's been a character that I utilize even in my teen classes. I put on the shoes, I put on the wig.
Wow.
Me vuelvo cubana, yo me vuelvo una cubana.
And then, you know what? That would be great. I think you could play Celia Cruz at the moment where she was at her height. And then
Yes.
there is other characters that could play the child, and then I would see
Yes.
Gloria Osiris playing the older Celia Cruz, our Gloria Osiris, right? Because she
Exactly.
sings salsa. She's
Uh,
perfect.
Okay. Because I had a conversation with Emilio Estefan.
Oh,
Yeah, I went that far. I was like, yeah, Celia Cruz. So I had a conversation with Emilio Estefan in Miami. I had a conversation with Omer Pardillo, who was Celia Cruz's former agent and her right hand guy.
mhm.
And I even went far to write, to adapt the book and kind of write a script out of it to kind of show what the movie would look like.
Wow.
And yeah, I handed it to Omer Pardillo. I registered it with the Writers Guild of New York.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I get a little crazy sometimes. And I'm like, let me see what could happen. But at the time, it's possible that I was like too ahead of my time with the whole Celia Cruz thing because they still weren't ready to show anything about Celia Cruz. Because they were still struggling with her state, and her husband passed away, and some family didn't know anything serious until things were back to normal, I guess,
Right.
or in back in their place. So I think now it's a good time to kind of knock on those doors again. For sure.
Yes, definitely. And it's never too late. I think if one production such as Telemundo is out there and we know is biased, I don't think it's going to make it. I don't think it's going to be that big of a hit because everybody notices.
I don't think so.
Everybody notices the bias and everything in the casting. So
exactly.
yeah. So hopefully, with your interest and the effort that you put into it, somebody will knock on your door and let's say, Isha, let's do it, and hey, work it out. Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
And I'll be like, let's do it.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live in the studio with Isha Summer. She's an actress. She's also the publisher of this brand new cookbook, which will be available soon on hard copy, I hope. And of course, on download through, all the media that you could get a book through,
Yeah.
And so
all
we're
the
live.
ebooks.
Oh yes, even ebook. Yeah, definitely. It is important.
Right.
So we are live on www.radiocentroamerica.com in Los Angeles, and we're broadcasting live through LMB Roots Radio in New York, lmbroots.com. So thank you again for listening and staying tuned to this wonderful interview as we explore the life of Miss Isha Summer, who is a proud mother, a proud wife, and of course, it's one of our own. So, Wega, let's eat. The Garifuna cookbook happens to be her production. Now, I think we already talked about the book because that's how we opened this interview. We really got into the book because it's such a unique thing. It's a unique project. How did the idea come about? I know you mentioned it earlier on that your mom inspired you because of the power of your mom to attract family to the table through food. But what really inspired you? Mm-hmm.
She's a good fisherwoman.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but also, the fact that there's so many things that do not exist within our community. On a more serious note, there's such a gap in our community for creativity. I feel, and this is my personal opinion, I could be completely wrong about this, that we focus a lot on the music as part of our culture.
Yes.
We focus a lot on the language because we don't want to lose that part of our culture. We focus on the women singing and dancing and the drumming and everything else. And then there is this kind of like this thing about the food. The other time for September 15th, I was actually, we celebrated Honduran Independence Day at Cortona Park in the Bronx. And then I said, people were like, oh, how are you going to be celebrating? ¿Vas a tener carne asada? No, voy a tener carne asada. Voy a hacer comida garífuna. Vamos a traer un
Wow.
al parque. Y
That's
entonces, terminamos con Hudutu in the park. And we had tapo, we had darasa, we had rice and beans, we had fried fish, we had everything that represented our Garifuna cuisine. And, people were excited, people were buying the food. I sold it as part of our fundraiser for $20 a plate. And some
Excellent.
people were like, no, I'm not paying $20.
Wow.
Some people were like, for Garifuna food, I need Garifuna food. I was like, you know what? We are here for the person that wants to pay $20 and wants to appreciate what we're doing.
Yes.
So if you don't want it, you're welcome to walk away. Adios. Hasta luego.
Adios. Beba ya.
And it didn't take long before one of those typical Garifuna girls, comes up to me and she goes, sophisticated. And she was like, well, Isha, what is it that you guys are selling? And I said, well, we have tapo, we have alabundiga, we have hudutu, and I started mentioning all the food, and she's like, oh, tapo? I don't like that.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
I don't like, yeah, that's the one they made with green bananas, right? And I was like, yeah, you know it. You know you ate it, girl.
Oh, wow.
Let's not pretend over here that just because we're in New York that we don't eat these foods. Because I remember back home when there were, we were going through hard times, and I don't think I was the only one that went through this experience. Mm-hmm. I know that when you saw green bananas boiled with some fish on top of it with water and basil, you know you ate it.
You can say that again, Isha. You can say that again.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
now this book right here, it's so unique because you have added pictures, and not only pictures, but they're professional pictures. And
yes.
Tell us about what we expect to find if we were to buy this book.
Awesome. When we're done with this book and you get to buy it, you will have not only the recipes from the authentic Garifuna cuisine, you will also find recipes that we have adapted from the mestizo, from the Ladino side of our culture. Mm-hmm. Because I always say that when it comes to food, I don't believe in politics. Because in Honduras, when it comes to food, nobody exercises politics. If you put hudutu, a Ladino would come and eat the hudutu.
Yes.
And be completely satisfied.
Oh, yeah.
A Garifuna will go into the city and eat a baleada and be completely satisfied.
There you go. Kemotia.
Yes. When it comes to the food, there's no such a thing as like, oh, that's their food and this is our food and this is our food. And no, it's like all the food brings all the people together.
That's right.
And I want to show that in the book.
Yes,
very
nice.
I'm showing that in the book, that we are embracing these two worlds that exist.
Wow,
we come from these two worlds. We cannot deny the fact that we belong to these two worlds. And we have gotten, we've had bad experiences, we also have had good experiences.
Yes.
And if those good experiences have to do with food, we have to include that.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. And the other thing is that will be very, very, very much part of this book is the pictures. Pictures that will take you back home. Pictures that will, bring to memory youthfulness, growing up, being there by the beach, being under the sun. The pictures are very colorful. The first set of photo shoots that we did was at the beach in Honduras.
Wow,
excellent. All folks brought their food to the beach, and we set the table, and each food was photographed so that the reader and the person that's looking at the pictures will feel that, we put the time. The book is of quality, and it's most importantly it will serve as a coffee table book.
Wow, excellent.
If you want to show it up in your living room, it's okay. The book is going to look good like that.
Excellent. Well, congratulations, Isha, on such a wonderful project. I think it was overdue, and I am glad that I came from someone like you, someone who is very dedicated, who is proud of her culture, and who is raising a beautiful family, and who talks real nice about your coworkers, the people that work around you with these wonderful projects. So I think you have a gold mine in this book. Whether you sell 1, 10, 20, 30,000, it doesn't matter. What matters is that it will be there, available for the generations to come, and whoever wants to get it, you could get it.
Yes. And I tell you what, today is being a very special day because today I had to host a group that came from South Korea.
Wow.
To learn about Garifuna food. And they have a food TV show in South Korea called Food Odyssey. And they were in East Harlem today eating hudutsu. Wow. And I tell you, Ronnie, that it was 8 people. And each one of these people, when they tried the hudutsu, they said, "Oh my God, I've tried coconut soup before, but never like this."
Wow.
Never like this. And they were loving hudutsu. And then I said, "Oh my God, this is the vision. It's happening. I want to share my food with all types of people."
Yes.
And because I know that the food has what it takes to be embraced. The food has the taste, it has the ingredients, the exotic flavors from the Caribbean. Come on. Like, we need a restaurant in New York City like yesterday.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Isha, we have a listener who is asking a question. She is Lucette King. She happens to be from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I think she lives in New York. I'm not too sure about that, but she's going to answer right away on my Facebook because we are talking with Lucette King. She asked, did Isha make any comparisons with foods from Yurumain to see whether any of the Garifuna cuisine remains? The thought came to me when she talked about the banana and the fish.
Awesome question. I actually met a sister. I called her my cousin because she looks like part of my family from St. Vincent. And it was funny the way we met because we were just in the female's bathroom and someone had left the door open and we were like, "Why is the door open?" And as soon as I said that, she's like, "Oh my God, you remind me of my family. My cousin or my mom would say that." And I was like, "Yeah, girl." And then she's like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "Honduras." She's like, "You're Garifuna?" and the whole conversation started from there.
Oh, wow.
And we talked about the cookbook, and she said to me that I have an invitation open for the month of February to come to St. Vincent and not to finish the book before I go back home. Because her cousin, who is an amazing cook, learned to cook from his grandmother, and his grandmother cooked Garifuna food.
Wow.
So she said, Isha, please don't print the book before you come to St. Vincent. And this is like one of the things that we're struggling with, because we're getting a lot of people in New York going like, where's the book, where's the book, where's the book? But because of our history and because of the fact that we were removed from St. Vincent and we still call it home, that's our Yurume, we still have a connection to it.
Yes.
And it feels like if we do something that is authentically Garifuna and we leave Yurume out, it would be as if we're not acknowledging really the foundation of the Garifuna culture.
Wow.
So as much as I traveled to Honduras, my spirit wants to go to St. Vincent. I feel that is the finishing touch that the book will need. And I'm totally considering it.
Excellent.
Completely open to it.
Thank you for that. Lucette King said, very touching, Isha. Thank you for the answer. Very nice. Wow. This is amazing. Isha, I want to invite you to join Global Highlights. It's a public group, and it's a group that is for people of St. Vincent. You could write it down. It's called Global Highlights.
Okay.
Join that group,
Got
and
it.
you could post any updates on your cookbook. And I reassure you, you're going to end up going to St. Vincent to do a book signing, and of course, that's when the book is available for sale. So, thank you so much,
Yes.
Isha. Is there anything else? Do you have any special message to the audience listening now before we say good night and goodbye?
Yes. It's always it's always good to leave a message. And because I love my people so much, and because of my awareness of some of the things that kind of like are disappointing in the culture, I would say my message would be a message of unity for Garifuna people to get rid of all the borders that they have created. Like people ask me like, oh, are you going to include people from Guatemala? And I'm like, food from Guatemala? And I'm like, why wouldn't I? Like, why wouldn't I? This is Garifuna food, so when it's Guatemala, Belize, St. Vincent, Honduras, this is our culture is without borders, and I didn't know that existed. Like, oh, there's a difference between Belizeans and and I was like, what's the difference?
Wow.
We share the same history.
Yes.
And I would just say to my people, get rid of the borders. You know, embrace one another. We share the same history. You know, we were separated from our homeland. We arrived to Honduras, and from there, you know, we went to different places, but we're still the same people.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
We are one people. We share one history. And I don't care if you're the president of, you know, you become the president of the United States, you still Garifuna.
Yes.
And you get to acknowledge all Garinagu.
Wow. Very touchy.
That
Thank
was
you. Very
the
touching.
message.
Yeah.
You know, get rid of the borders. You know, let down the walls. It's just foolishness. It really, like, bothers me every time I hear, oh, how about, I don't really like this from because they're from here. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah, good point, Isha. Thank you so much. And Lucette King added one last comment. She said, thank you, Isha, and I will invite you to our radio program. They have a radio program in St. Vincent. I forget the name of the radio station. And she will contact me to get to you, but is it okay if I give her your information when she's ready to do the radio show? Okay, great, beautiful. And we're talking about a radio station in St. Vincent that is very popular.
Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah. So also
That's
a message
exciting.
from another listener. This is Giovanni Silva Garifuna from Guatemala in the Bronx. He's actually the owner of LMB Roots Radio. He says, man, I love Isha, Ronnie. Good message. Thanks for the message. She's good. Thanks for that. I love what she said. Itarala.
Awesome. Itaralana. Mama Nugunda. Thank you. Serime ni ang lagusun leha de
Seremen Isha, thank you so much. In Buitiguño. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Isha Summer, Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. And we'll see you next week. Thank you, Isha. Ayo, Buitiguño.
Ayo, Buitiguño ni ayo.
Ayo.
Irasalia diga bulana o Iturawe Irasalia diga bulana o Beibu ganale Loma indurama Alurara niye Beibu ganale Loma indurama Alurara niye Maya wahe, lege nagabula bubundala. Maya wahe, lege nagabula bubundala. Nagami babriye, itu wale dabe, yure yure, maya wahe. Nagami babriye, itu wale dabe, yure yure. Mama, lugar anie, darayar anie.
Queima-te a água e o politician and get a good position. You turn a politician and get a good position. And now you don't look for your people then. No, you don't look for the people then. Tina, this your life. Tina, this your life. Some things you just can't buy. Some things you just don't sell. Some things you just can't buy. That is not for sale. 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 Oh no, it's not for sale. That is not for sale. Oh the almighty dollar. That is not for sale. Oh the almighty dollar. That is not for sale. Selling this, selling that. That is not for sale. That is not for sale. That is not for sale. Oh no, it's not for sale. That is not for sale. Oh no, it's not for sale.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. Welcome to my show every Wednesday, 7 to 9 p.m.
Lahaya Chugarifuni. Halege salo chanira sagarifuna. Enga bainu. Ooh yeah. Halege salo chanira sagarifuna. Enga bainu. Peter Eyman Bracelet Farasule Adeirubani. Hiri gari nabo. Peter Eyman Bracelet Farasule Adeirubani. Hiri gari nabo. Gari egini nabo tumurei. Libya lusini boy gari nabo. Gari egini nabo tumurei. Libya lusini boy gari nabo. Alright. Oh yeah. Mabule ida wa mai, dia wanasi uhanya. Mabule ida wa mai, dia wanasi nyito dai buganari go. Habyongari na go. Ai nei buganari go. Ah, rete manere tere. Peter Eyman Bracelet Farasule Adeirubani. Hiri gari nabo. Peter Eyman Bracelet Farasule Adeirubani. Hiri gari nabo. Gari egini nabo tumurei. Libya lisumi boy gari nabo. Gari egini nabo tumurei. Libya lusuni boy gari nago. Hanyege salo chalira sagari funa. Enga bainu. Ooh yeah. Hanyege salo chalira sagari funa. Enga bainu. Peter Eyman Bracelet Farasule Adeirubani. Hiri gari nabo. Peter Eyman Bracelet Farasule Adeirubani. Hiri gari nabo. Ai nei buganari go. Ah, hapyon gari nabo. Ai nei buganari go. Ah, rete manere dere. Gari egini nabo tumurei. Ligya lusni boy gari
Wabalua mugrekuna, angiya gaida puchugu. Wabalua mugrekuna, angiya gaida puragay. Wabalua mugrekuna. Kai panaga namule itu kama sabana nindu. Nerenga susia gaibuna. Igabunu, baju bagaya lumatingu. Padabeye, amalora nitu. Wapina hakuta, nerenga u. Luamulara ne gaibuna, nerenga u. Luamu susia gaibuna. Nagaidu panaga, wabalua mugrekuna. Nagaidu bugudu, wabalua mugrekuna. Angiya gaida buchugu. Wabalua mugrekuna. Angiya gaida puragay. Wabalua mugrekuna. Badu mugrekuna, rese nularan, chul badu bana yeyawa, badaba ye, beba eya hoda, ichu mabachata, nerenga u, luwa mulara ne grekuna, nerenga u, luwa mususi ya grekuna, lakaidu banaga, wabadu wabu grekuna, lakaidu bugudu, wabadu wabu grekuna, angi ya kaida buchugu. Wabalua mugrekuna, angiya gaida murabe. Wabalua mugrekuna.
Ni tu arito guapa, lida gela tiamua wayabi. Ni tu samina we, lida gela tiamua wayabi. Sensi yebe buma, muna yebe buma, kolu yebe buma. Amu balogrande. Sensu yebe buma, muna yebe buma, kolu yebe buma. Amu babagarite. Ni tu arito guapa, lida gela tiamua wayabi. Ni tu samina we. Lido bayat mua tawidi. Sensu yebe buma, muna yebe buma, kolu yebe buma. Amu balogrande. Sensu yebe buma, muna yebe buma, kolu yebe buma. Amu babagarite. Ningira almaga manina muwariwa. Eina mulelua, bachu guapana, musera guapana. Eka fie bandina buariwa. Ningira almaga bandina buariwa. Eina mulelua bachu guapana osera guapana. Eka fie bandina buariwa. Nito sensu yebe buma, muna yebe buma, kolu yebe buma. Amu babagarite. Sensu yebe buma, muna yebe buma, kolu yebe buma. Amu babagarite. Venga! Sara la muga y de gahondo, aye la magua, aguaralo. Sara la muga y de gahondo. Aba bonito mama, tu buya guteme ya nu. Aye, ya bonito mama, tu buya guteme ya nu. Aye, aye bugio, la uliñara. Ya uba huma alira na wile. Aye bugio na uliara. Na ya uba huma alira na wile. Aluagu waina menyo ya nuwa. Vengitina huni hara nubugi ute. Higirunina hara nuwa. Aluagu waina menyo ya nuwa. Mama nubugi ute. Itara humana. Mama nubugi ute. Itara
Bongi yu baba kaliri chabande, hey farabio kaliri chabande, sangi maramite ya punda suluno, ubalara dile huma bongi yute. Au serapina jebelu la kukuri sandile, arika bana ke chama numero madurane. Au serapina jebelu la kukuri sandile. Arika bana geja mama numero madurane. Hey JB sangi maramite. Hey Ubalara mile, ubasara migo, ubalara mile, ubagugurigo. Nuguja ni diba nunguwa, jaginye nita, ni diba nunguwa, jaginye, nuba buchaja nuwa, goma agamba muto, buchaja nuwa, goma agamba po. Uwa, 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 uwa nati uwa, migira bana na buwa. Uwa, 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 uwa nati uwa, migira bana na buwa. Uwa nate, migira bana, uwa mito, migira bana, miruga dubana ho, jara na buwa. Miruga dubana ho, jara na buwa. Adamba ya nabuge gadu.
Gawe ya dinanyo merigonga alua guwe na megawo abu media genyo achara gada abi wa telegrama luago monserua toni vai media yo diga burei suse vai meta genyo monserua batutia lomba ageira gari no go uaya tigate magabuate ube 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 to bachaguleta ube 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 to bachaguleta no para garu manito to bachaguleta no para garu manata to bachaguleta no para garu manata
Igia luri bamba malabu dahaniye Igia luri bamba malabu dahaniye Madga madga Irida hawa pina Iyadga madga abu mama Irida hawa pina Gube gube Toba chaguleda Gube gube Toba chaguleda Madga madga abu mama Irida hawa pina Iyadga madga naru nugu Irida hawa pina Igia luri bamba malabu dahaniye Igia luri bamba malabu dahaniye
Yes.
getting fat, we having a good time. Good time, good time. When y'all see we soaking wet, we having a good time. Good time, good time. When y'all see me waving my hand, I'm having a good time. Good time, good time. When y'all see me with my woman, I'm having a good time. Away, we 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 having a good time. 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 How you mean? How you mean? Start to wine. Start to wine. Everybody. We're having a good time, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yes. Basic. Are you ready? Are you ready? Stephen Bain. Bass me down, baby. I'm having a good time. Good time. When you see me working up, I'm having a good time. Good time, good time. When you see me raise my Belizean flag, I'm having a good time. Good time, good time. When you see me jamming, jamming, I'm having a good time. We're 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 having a good time.
Well, family, thank you so much. Like every good story comes to an end, right? My show has come to an end tonight. Thank you so much, Lucette King, Mr. Joseph Guerrero, Miss Isha Summer for a wonderful interview. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Thank you and good night. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and we'll see you on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This has been Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga, live and direct from the studios in Long Beach. ¿Qué motia? Lafu presentó Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. Es un programa semanal de 7 de la noche a 9 de la noche todos los miércoles a través de www.radiocentroamerica.com en Los Ángeles y www.lmbroots.com radio en Nueva York. Tune in next Wednesday again for Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We're live and direct through www.radiocentroamerica.com and lmbroots.com radio in New York. Wednesdays from 7 to 9 p.m.